Well, good evening, good morning, middle in the night, wherever you are. Welcome to my workshop. I am so grateful that you are here tonight. So, let me get started with my mission for today. My mission for our time together is to help you understand why you can't think yourself out of burnout, why you can't optimize yourself out of burnout, and why there is no self-care program that will you get out of that. The reason being is that it is a different state than just being fatigued and exhausted. It is not only a level down, it's
Check your
hello.
chat.
Excuse me, can you just turn off your mute? All right, thank you. All right, so, pardon me, I will allow some other people to enter. Thank you very much. Here we go. All right, so what is truly happening instead is that as it is beyond exhaustion and fatigue, it's as if you're running on fumes. And that's exactly what it is. Let me explain. So, just to give you an idea, tonight, what I'm covering here tonight is simply the surface of the issue. I will cover a lot. You will get a lot of out of this workshop for tonight, but it is as if it's the icing on a cake, and frankly, it's only one lick off the icing of your beautiful cake. So there is much more, but I'm trying to give you an overall picture that will help you create greater understanding. And the one thing that I want you to get from any of my workshops and the work that I'm doing is that everything you need is already within you. You are complete, you are whole. And what you are seeking is not only already within you, but it is seeking you as well. And that is really important for you to know, to connect again with that part within yourself. So what I'm going to share with you tonight is the problem. I'm going to help you understand why it's a problem and why it's important for you to solve it. I will give you some research and data on it. I will break things down for you into a few more pieces. I will give you one technique that you can start practicing right away, and you will see absolutely changes being made. And then on the other side, I will stop the recording and I will turn the mute on so that you can ask me questions, any questions that you may have. And I have a few things that I'd like to give you in a moment, not yet. Not only one bonus, but four bonuses. So we'll get to that in a moment. This is who I am. I'm the author of these two books, and I work with clients, high achievers, entrepreneurs, and professionals that are dealing with stress, anxiety, worry, and burnout. And through the techniques that I'm working with, I help them first to return to safety, out of survival into safety, and to help them to therefore get into the flow and move towards freedom. Unlike traditional approaches, I don't hover over past painful problems, but my focus is towards helping you find the solution in the future. And I unite body, soul, and mind into a coherent state. What's different is that I don't start with mindset. Of course, we're going to work with mindset, but the first thing that we what I do in my work is I help you find relief to return to a state of safe. That is one of the most important necessities for us to feel safe in our body, to feel safe in our surroundings. That's where we start. And then I help you recalibrate the nervous system. And only then we start working on your subconscious mind so that you realign your energy fields to its natural state of flow and coherence. So, I wonder if this sounds familiar to you. You find yourself, you find yourself getting off work on Friday and already going into anxiety spins about your work on Monday. You're reading your emails until late at night just to go get ahead of the problem. And you feel guilty, really absolutely guilty, getting some rest. Even good days don't feel good at all anymore. And it's because you are so exhausted that simple sleep just won't cut it. Furthermore, you can't you can't do the job the way you used to do because you are in a different state, and it's because you are disconnected from things and your brain is disconnected from all other things. Here's the thing: in an incoherent state, all parts are out there on their own instead of working together with you towards the solutions and getting your work done. And it is not so that you want your old life back. Indeed, you are looking for things to change. You want a different life. You have perhaps tried meditation, you've taken vacations, you've done yoga, and you've tried harder and harder, but nothing worked. And the reason why things haven't worked and why it's so important that you get started is because a dysregulated nervous system creates, based on and due to, because of chronic stress and leading to burnout, keeps your body stuck in survival mode, the most primitive and the most basic of all states of being that we have, which means you're running on adrenaline and cortisol, which furthermore leaves your body drained because you're on fire, literally on fire on a cellular level. The fires consume, do they not? And so it is for you. And because of the drainage, the low energy, and because of being in survival mode, you feel you're losing abilities, and you are indeed, because you are working from the limbic system, the amygdala, and the sympathetic nervous system, which, based on the state that you find yourself in and believe yourself to be in, which is survival, your brain must shut down. The part that makes logical and cognitive decisions shuts down because you are in survival mode. Therefore, it is rather limiting. And here's what I'd like you to know is that this is the perfectly normal way for the nervous system to react, although because of the chronic stress, because of your anxiety, your overwhelm, and your burnout, it is oversensitive. It is super sensitive, which leaves you feeling that you are broken, that everything you're doing is just leading to more breakdown, to more stress, to more anxiety. And unfortunately, you're entering that negative vortex that pulls you deeper and deeper down. So just know that you are not broken. The system is doing basically what it is supposed to be doing, but it is super sensitive and overactive. Someone, can we please mute yourself, because I don't know why anyone can unmute themselves. Please make sure that you are muted. Thank you very much. So now the key is, if you don't address this, if you choose not to deal with this, let me share with you what happens. Your health suffers. And because your health suffers, you no longer are capable or willing to pursue fitness. Your diet will tank, your well-being tanks, which adds furthermore to your health. I think you're seeing that it is looping around in that negative vortex. What happens next is that you are feeling this in your body, inflammation in your body, which affects every part of your body and leads to autoimmune issues, digestive problems, sleep disorders, and many, many more things. It can indeed lead to all forms of cancer, diabetes, you name it. It becomes an additional problem because it affects your relationships. It affects everything. And why is that? I said in the beginning, you're running on fumes. You've got nothing to give anymore. There is nothing left in you because you gave your energy, you put it out there, which means that you're taking it away from your inner resource center. So you've got nothing left to give, which leaves you drained and in a low energetic state. And if you think you can run away, frankly, think again. We cannot run away from our problems, from our issues, because they have come on our path because we need to learn something. We need to deal with it. We need to go through them. I remember my mother, who had a health issue which increased her sense of paranoia. And she always ran away from it. She moved. And then there was the honeymoon moment, a period of about 3 months. After 3 months, all those symptoms came back. Same with you. You cannot run away. The reason for that is it came on our path to ask us to move through it because it is for our growth. I'll show you in a moment. What happens when you ignore, deny, or lie? When you see the red flags, but you're choosing not to see them, not to hear the warnings, and to just frankly go, oh, it'll get better. If you choose to deny or lie, it leads to serious consequences in your life. We all get the little whispers. We may choose not to hear them. When we don't hear them and we don't hear them, at some point the system crashes and it forces us to deal with it. Perhaps it would be better to see the red flags now. And the longer you wait, the wider the gap gets. Here's the reason why. The gap gets bigger and bigger because you're nourishing the thing out there, be that the anxiety, the fear, the perceived or real threat. You're putting all your energy into that thing, which means what? You had to take it from somewhere, and you took it from your internal resources. You took it from yourself and you made that thing bigger and yourself weaker. The more you're doing it, the greater the imbalance, the wider the gap. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Burnout does not show up immediately. Burnout, frankly, it becomes your normal state. You're not even aware of it any longer that you are in this state of burnout because you've dealt with it for so long, you've lived with it for so long, and you cannot fix burnout, fix unless you squash the fire, the inflammation, the thing first. Because you cannot do it when you're drained, when you're giving all of your energy out there. And you cannot squash or fix it by mindset approach it, meditation apps, and they all work, but not when you're on fire. You cannot, when your house is on fire, you're not thinking of building the addition. You're trying to save the thing that is you first, right? There is a sequence here. And I'd like to get really real with you here. There is no magic lamp that will do the job for you. But if I had known back then what I know today, I would have saved myself a lot of time, a lot of frustration, a lot of unnecessary frenzy, and money by doing the things that work. Therein lies the difference. So I'd like you to just lean back for a moment, and I'd like you to ask yourself what is causing your.
Hold on.
Can you
I'm so sorry, hon. Yeah, no, you're fine. So I said,
can you
you
please
have
turn
to make.
can you please turn off your sound? Please turn off, mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so what's causing your burnout? Usually, I see this all the time. Chaos, crises, and catastrophes lead to burnout, especially when they are chronic. They're going on for a long, long time. What you do to deal with that, you're going into autopilot. You disconnect, you separate yourself, and you stay where you are, either out of guilt or out of fear, out of guilt or fear, or not knowing how to get out of it. That's causing increasing burnout because more and more you become um, more vulnerable and less creative. Burnout is caused by working conditions, external working conditions that of course are most of the time beyond our control, and we are living in a state of anxiety. You're thrilled that your shift is canceled, or that school is canceled, that a case was canceled, that something is not working out, so that you can lean back and go, I bit that bullet, I saved the day. But again, there's avoidance and it's not changing the cause. So it's causing you still that burnout. And the other thing that causes more burnout, and the burnout causes you to make more mistakes. Everything works in cycles. So for those of you that are living in a state of stress and anxiety and burnout, you fear making mistakes. And because you fear making mistakes, you may withdraw, you may lean back and go, oh, I won't be doing that. I won't be taking a leadership role. I would rather avoid it. I procrastinate. I am stuck in performance paralysis because of the stress, and it's causing me stress, which leads to more burnout, reduces your creativity, and damages your mental, physical, and emotional and spiritual health. So let me ask you, to just take a moment and assess where your energy is going. Are you draining your energy by giving it out? Or are you replenishing your energy? Are you wasting it on the many, many things, many of which are unnecessary and unessential? Or are you investing it? And here's what you need to know. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Your breath is your energy. Everything you do is energy. Everything in this universe is energy. And if you give it away to something out there, you are draining your energy. So if burnout is such a big problem, why don't people deal with it or recover from it? And what I have found is that we are telling ourselves many myths, and I've chosen 3 for you tonight. Yes, the famous stick your head in the sand sort of approach, which is as a consequence or as an avoidance to, oh my, if I face this or if I want to do this, I will need to take a lot of time off from work. And I may not have the financial resources to do that. I am afraid to quit this job. And you're starting to spin all these negative scenarios, which keep you where? In survival mode. And it traps you. And because of that, what you're doing is keeping you stuck and you won't address it at all. The second myth is that you're telling yourself if you just get a little bit more sleep, you go on a vacation, you do something, or perhaps you're taking a chill pill. I don't know if there's such a thing as a chill pill. Then that would help you to return to a more resourceful state. Now, when that does not work, then, and this is logical, then you say to yourself, there's something wrong with me. I'm obviously not doing this right because obviously if I'm fatigued, then rest should do it or relaxation, which leads to myth number 3, which goes to the source of you. And that is you are thinking, feeling, fearing that you are not enough, not resilient enough, not strong enough, not productive enough, not good enough, not something enough, or simply not enough, which unfortunately keeps you stuck in shame, blame, and the victim role. The victim is stuck. The victim becomes helpless and hopeless. And therefore, you are not seeking to find any other solutions. So it's a trap to think that it is your fault and that simply by trying harder and being stronger, it will work. Trying harder leads to failure because it creates an additional emotion, negative emotion, frustration, which attracts more frustration to it. My story of struggle, stress, and anxiety is, and I'm not sure that I realized at the time that I was dealing with burnout. I experienced, like everyone on this planet, there are the ups and the downs. At the moment of my existential struggle, I had lived a very happy, good life, and things were running really quite nicely until in one single day, my life collapsed. I lost my home. I lost my savings. I lost my security while I was 6 months pregnant. And I lost actually a whole lot more than those material possessions. I lost my sense of safety and security. I lost my sense of identity, and I lost who I really was. And I replaced it with negative beliefs. Um, I lost my confidence. I lost my ability to think. I was stuck in this state of shock and trauma. And I replaced all of those with self doubt, fear, and a complete loss of joy. And it was that one moment years later when someone said something to me and it hit me like a light bulb. It was that one moment, the aha, and I realized where I was in my life. I realized what I had been doing, and I also realized that I had been trying to logically take me out of a state of survival. There is no logic that works. First, I had to return this feeling of I am safe, I am well, everything will turn out better than I thought, and only then could I return into and regain the things that I had lost and became the better for it. So, if you're believing these or any other myths, they keep you stuck. You feel trapped and you can't get out of them. So, here's my question for you to ask yourself: are you willing to go all in on a nervous system regulation and allowing it to work for you as you do the work for it? Because it always is a bidirectional affair when we want to get out of something and into something else. So here's what is happening when you live with the myth but without the regulation. When pressure hits, your biology takes over. In that moment of a crash, my biology took over. I may have known what to do, but I couldn't do it because I had to protect the integrity of my being. I had to I had to find a place where I felt safe. So when your nervous system gets stuck under stress and safety, it gets stuck in this mode to just help you. What happens is that your body stays tense. You are always on high alert. You're looking around you. Where is there more threat? So externalizing your internal energy to just look around, and it leaves you clearly exhausted. Your mind is looping over and over, most of the time in past pain or problems, again and again. You feel disconnected, numb, and checked out because you literally do. And any sudden attempt or too much of something, or if someone tells you there is your amazing future, you go, whoa, not so fast, because it overwhelms you. You are in survival. You cannot take that. And that's what trauma is, seen through the neurosomatic perspective. Trauma is disconnection from energy, and it is stuck energy, energy that could not complete the cycle. And because the overwhelm was so great, the trauma, you're disconnecting from the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual self. The devastating part is it is costly, not only frustrating and uncomfortable and frenzying, but because of the state you are in, you cannot see opportunities, possibilities coming your way. And again, I'd like to point out, to make sure that we're clear, that your nervous system is doing what it is supposed to be doing, and that is to keep you protected and safe. It's not a logical thing. It is just also in this overwhelmed situation, it becomes hyperactive, super sensitive. And because when you stay in it in a chronic state, not acute syndrome, but chronic, you're making it more and more sensitive. Therefore, it's a dysregulated state. What makes the problem bigger is naturally that it doesn't only stay contained in the dysregulation. You're taking it everywhere with you. It affects your relationships, not only with a partner, but also at work, with relationships at work, with relationships with all people. You waste hours and hours in this mental loop. And your nervous system, in reality, frankly, so it is keeping you stuck and it is running the show and it's you're running on fumes. The bigger problem becomes when you have pretty much lost hope, you're the victim, and all you're seeking is to self medicate yourself through either popping pills, hitting the booze, or what have you, which makes you even more exhausted, more hopeless, more helpless, and it shows up, of course, at work. So, where you stop caring. And it doesn't get better on its own. Nothing gets better on its own. Nothing. If we ever thought that if you just leave it, it will get better. No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, it gets worse. It's like your garden. If you think that just by ignoring the weeds, they will stop growing, think again, they will not. Same with your body and a dysregulated nervous system that is stuck in safety and survival. What happens is you become more easily triggered. Therefore, you're training your biology to become more reactive, not less. Everything you see is a danger and a threat, and you're training your brain to stay where it is at. So there needs to be an intervention. The longer it waits, the more it affects everything in your life. It's truly that domino effect. If it triggers everything, you are becoming more reactive, you snap faster, you are activating your sympathetic nervous system more often, which means your parasympathetic, the rest and relax, goes into slow motion. It is not perceivable any longer, and it affects your health, your relationships, your finances, your career, everything, and your true sense of self. So, let me give you some data points because it's not only me saying this, but there is plenty of research supporting this. I'm going to give you 3 points tonight. HeartMath Institute has been doing tremendous amount of research on this phenomenon of returning the body to a coherent state through particular techniques and approaches. What they have discovered in their research is that stress affects the communication between the heart, the brain, and your nervous system. When you are in stress or in a stressed moment, all your parts are running their own show, their own sideshow. They're not working with one another. Hence, you're incoherent. Everyone is out to survive on their own. It's mayhem. So that is why you are in heart brain incoherence. You have decreased cognitive function. Your decision making is down. You can't choose to do anything other than survive. And there is total emotional depletion. Studies from the Tel Aviv and Ludwig Maximilians University show that burnout acts as can trigger low-grade inflammation in systemic inflammation in your body. Chronic stress affects you on a cellular level. So you are creating an inflammation in your body. It makes sense because you are always on fire. So we're talking about chronic stress, and it manifests in your body in chronic diseases such as cardiovascular, metabolic disturbances, and as I mentioned earlier, it shows up as also in many forms of cancer. Neuroplasticity research shows that your brain cannot rewire itself when it is operating out of a stress response. It makes sense. You don't have the energy, you don't have the resources to create something else when you're dealing with a perceived or real threat. So, what happens as a result of that, your hippocampus, the learning and memory center, shrinks. What also happens is, and you will see that in children who are growing up in unsafe conditions, be that inside their home or external unsafe situations, they never know when the next event will affect them. So logically, their limbic system and their amygdala and their sympathetic nervous system are always on. They're always looking around when the next problem or crisis occurs, which means what? It shuts down the prefrontal cortex. Therefore, many suffer from learning disabilities. It is not their fault. It is simply because of the state, the environment they live in. So, let me break down the problem into 3 parts. You're dealing with your nervous system being stuck in the sympathetic overdrive. What does that mean? Your sympathetic nervous system is the one that is your safety, your protection system. It is the part that is about fight, flight, or freeze. And when it cannot differentiate between real or perceived. So if you are in an anxious or nervous state, fearful state, it will be on alert, and it will take you to where it needs to take you, and that is to safety. Again, this is amazing when you're in real threat, but if this is your daily situation, then it exhausts your resources. So as a result of that, it creates inflammation, it disrupts your sleep, it crashes your immune system, it creates the brain fog because you can't think. You are all about survival. So the facts are, in this state, your prefrontal cortex is offline, your amygdala is in charge, your body must prioritize survival, and everything feels like a threat. The path to regulation is through regulating the system and getting it into a state of coherence. This is an image from the Heart Math Institute, and it shows here at this moment is where they started to do a coherence exercise, and I'll do one with you in a moment, and immediately you're going from incoherent to a coherent state where your heart, your brain, and your nervous system and all parts of you are working together as one. You're returning to oneness. You're activating the parasympathetic nervous system and bringing it into balance. So you're bringing rest and digest back, and you're lowering the fight or flight. That's the key. Chronic inflammation, problem number 2, is hijacking your recovery. When you are in a state of exhaustion, sleep can't fix it because you're dealing with inflammation. And when cortisol is chronically elevated, what happens? It triggers inflammatory cytokines throughout your body. That's why you feel physically sick. You have the muscle tensions, the headaches, and the stomach issues. You're stuck. So inflammation keeps you stuck and keeps you more inflamed because now, as I said, one thing affects the other, and it's a cyclical and circular movement. Chronic inflammation busters are good nutrition, and I mean really good nutrition, because poor nutrition adds to your stress, to your inflammatory state and stress response. Exercise, being out in nature, and good sleep. But this is your second step after returning your body to safety. I'll get to that. Problem number 3, part number 3, is that your brain has lost its resilience. Okay, so here's the problem. Chronic stress is actually shrinking, as I said, your hippocampus. It weakens your prefrontal cortex. Your brain loses its ability to regulate stress because you are in a chronic state. So when you are in a chronic state of stress, your neuroplasticity breaks down. You cannot create a new pattern when your house, your internal house, is on fire. You can't access the things that will get you out of it when you are in life or death crisis situation. But when you learn to tap into that inner resilience, into that inner energy that is yours, that you have so freely given away to external things, then you come back to safety. Safety is a first step in the healing. You can take a breath. You can allow that energy to flow through you again and fill your capacity and expand your energy capacity, and you can tap into that resilience. Feeling safe again is the first step to recovery. So let me share with you one technique that I do with clients, and that helps. I have many techniques, but here is for tonight. I have one that I will share with you right now that will take you out of dysregulation into resilience. So for that, what I'd like you to do is this. I'd like you to focus in a moment on your heart, and we're going to do a breathing sequence. But before you go there, I'm adding something to this. I'd like you to imagine the thing or the person, be it a situation or a person that triggers you into your stress response. Imagine that person is standing, or that thing is standing in your doorway. And now just pay attention where your energy is going and what's happening to your energy. Where are you feeling this in your body? Just Just note, just assess where you're feeling that. Okay, so now let's take that energy back from that external thing and pull it back internally and bring it back into your body. Go ahead and place both hands on your heart area, and fill your heart area with white, silvery light energy. And now what I'd like you to do is breathe in and out through your heart. Breathe in a little bit slower and deeper than usual, and breathe in to a count of 5. Hold to a count of 5 and exhale to a count of 5. And we're going to do that for tonight. We're going to do that for about a minute and a half. Let me do that for about a minute and a half. All right. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and close your eyes and focus your attention on your heart area. That's right. And now take a deep breath in through your nose and to a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale again and do so counting to what feels comfortable to you. And as you are doing that, imagine feeling a sense of calm and ease and peace coming into your heart space. It is just feeling comfortable. This can be a sense of appreciation or gratitude. And feel this and expand it. Allow this feeling to expand into your energy field. That's right. And now take one more inhale to a count of 5. Hold for 5. And exhale to a count of 5. That's right. And now come back in, and I'd like you to assess where you are now. This was only a minute and a half. My recommendation is that you do this for about 5 minutes because it brings you back into a state, into a coherent state where your heart feels safe. And when your heart feels safe, it sends instructions to your brain, and your brain can calm down. So you're shifting the pattern of your heart from chaotic to coherent. And that sends the signal of safety. This is not relaxation. This is regulation. You start feeling safe. And that is the first step that you take. All right. So, and the more often you do that throughout the day, it is practice that makes you feel better and more often. And in this state of coherence, you will start to create new neural pathways in your brain with something that you'd rather have. And here's what I'd like you to know. That you may have tried a lot of things, and you may have tried to fix your biological problem with a behavioral solution, and that does not work. We need to address the problem where the problem is at, and this is at your biology. So it's not your fault that it didn't work. And here's what my client, Heather, experienced. When she came to me a year ago, she was going through a massive major crisis in her life, which originated in her private life, but her private was also her professional life because the business was also shared with her partner. And as she experienced this, she noticed that she truly could not think clearly through her problems. She was in this constant brain fog. She was constantly on hyper alert. She couldn't focus on anything anymore. She couldn't find solutions. And she noticed that she couldn't have a normal conversation with anyone anymore. It's as if she had stepped away from everything. And we started working on this. And although we cannot in our work change external factors, but when you change your internal world, your external world will follow. Somehow you find ways because you are projecting your inner calm to your outer world, and you do change your circumstances, but it starts at your internal level. So Heather, within 6 months, felt a complete shift. And within very shortly thereafter, she felt like herself again. Now, the magic that she experienced didn't happen on her own. Heather did the work. She did the work of doing the things that I suggested that she do, that I gave the techniques that I showed her and taught her. So, yes, it worked. But not many people do that. Not many people know that they have these options. And there are, for many, uh, roadblocks that are not only in their way, they're on their way, and that are holding them back. So let me share you three that I hear all the time. Heather did not come to me and say to me, I don't have time for this. But I hear that all the time. I don't have time to do this. And here's the thing, every time, every minute that you work on the problem, you're creating and making the problem bigger and bigger. And if you're working on changing as the problem is that huge and out there, obviously the changes that you are trying to fix it with can't stick. Here's the reality that you really don't have time not to do this because your most efficient way of dealing with the problem is by doing these strategies, by spending 5 minutes, maybe 5 times a day to do that one technique. Can you do it? Is the question. Many people, I hear it all the time. I've tried breath work and I've done meditation and it doesn't work. Here's what you need to hear. It happened to me just a couple of weeks ago. We were doing a meditation in this group, trance meditation, and I became more and more fidgety because it was very odd to me. I felt I have a little hip issue going on, and by doing that, somehow or other, it triggered my pain. I had to step out of it. I had to calm my biology. And then the next day, when we did it again, I was perfectly all right. So, again, if in the past you have done it and it didn't work, that's because you were most likely doing it when you were in a heightened survival state, and you can't do it at that moment. Here is how it works. When you are first calming the symptoms down, and then you are going into using these techniques that I have to offer. So biology first, there is a sequence to all things. This is the proper sequence here. Many people say that this sounds even more overwhelming and I'm already burned out. Why should I add more things on my plate? Everything is overwhelming it. Yup, again, you're working on from a burnt out state. So with these techniques, regulation comes first that will help you to calm the overwhelm down so that you can take one step, a step-by-step approach. Sequence is the key, the proper sequence. And if you do this, then when you do this, then you will have a far easier approach to get to where you want to be. And here's the thing, you don't have to do this on your own. You need someone that can guide you, can help you, who's done it many times before and who's been there also just where you are perhaps now. And the fact that you are here and still watching me show you how you can do this, and you can see that it can be done very quickly when you have the right knowledge, the right tools, and the right techniques means that you are ready to actually make regulation work for you. And there are better ways that you can do this. Now, here's one option, and that is you can do it on your own. You can take what I've shown you and you can say, I can do this. And you can do your own research. You can learn a lot of things that are out there, some of which are myths and some of them are snake oil, and you don't know until you take the time to try all these things out. It could take you months, it could take you even longer until you maybe get it right. And then there's the one thing, and I see this all the time. You learn something, but before you apply it, you see a whole lot of other shiny objects. Again, externalizing the solution outward, and you don't doing any of those. And it's as if you find yourself in that deepest, darkest moment, the dark night of your soul, part of this journey that we all have to go through again and again. But there's never a going back the way you have come into this place. There's a way forward. So just remembering how you got here will not help you. And perhaps that little bit of light will guide you. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know. It could take you forever. And for you, I hope that it works. The option number 2 is to get guidance. Doesn't that seem to be a far easier approach than to be erring and to be spending so much unnecessary energy and time and money on the things that may or may not work? Instead, you get guidance for someone who has not only walked this journey, but has received training and who can guide you faster towards where you want to be, out of the maze and into the light. Everybody knows you can go farther faster with a guide who's done it before. And it didn't surprise me to learn that most every celebrity and people who are somebodies have worked with coaches, mentors, teachers, because they know that it is easier to learn from someone who's learned it and who's done it than to start from scratch, from zero, and work yourself all the way up. It is logical to do that. And you are here for a reason. It is not by coincidence that you are here. Something in you awoke and asked you to seek the information that is already seeking you. And I am aware that we are all different. We all have our unique stresses, our unique circumstances, unique triggers. But here's the one thing that I do know, that it is your time to start answering to the calls that you are hearing already within you, and to help you to get there faster and easier. I have a few things that I'd like to give to you. There is my virtual 3-week course value of $497 that I'm going to give to you. The nervous system reset protocol, a PDF, the chaos karma, which is a recording, and the breath of life techniques, also a recording. All of these put together have a value of $1,044. Now, let me tell you what the GPS to success is. It's a virtual online self-teaching course that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. And this is through self-empowerment and self-discovery. So this is not so much focused on your nervous system, but this is truly to help you understand who you are and where you are in your journey. And it helps you with a tremendous amount of techniques, helps you guide you through your journey. The nervous system protocol is a PDF that guides you like a roadmap. It guides you through your nervous system, through the different stages, and it helps you to identify your goals. It helps you to identify your stressors and guides you and shifts you through the work that you are doing through safety and to feelings of coherence. The chaos karma, I'm giving you 3 or 4 enormously powerful techniques. It is a recording, and these are I have learned these from top coaches. So these are pure gold. When you do these, and you do this regularly, you will see a change in yourself that is close to miraculous. And this is the breath of life techniques. I'm following the 7 stages of trauma as seen through the perspective of the neurosomatic dynamics, beliefs, findings. And so there are 7 stages of trauma, and I teach you the 7 unique forms of breathing that will help you to get out of that state into your next state. So I wonder, is this worth your time? So you may wonder, why am I giving you these free bonuses? I'd like to be really clear about this, because I want to give you an incentive that will help you to say yes to yourself. And I want to make this an easy decision for you. To say yes to yourself by taking me up on this course. The course that I have put together, your catalyst, the catalyst course from stuck to unstoppable, which is an evolutionary rewiring of your nervous system to take you out of stuck. And we're addressing your body, your mind, your spirit. All of these are addressed in this 5-day intensive course. The reason I built this course because I have observed that many achievers, successful people, professionals are stuck, simply stuck in their state of incoherence. They're unaware of the things that handicap them. And because of their unawareness of where they are, of the things that are handicap them, they're also unaware of what's causing them to be who they are and where they are in their life and why they're not moving forward. So here's what you're going to get in this course in the 5 days. First day, I'm covering the nervous system. I'm going to explain to you the parasympathetic, sympathetic, and the polyvagal theory. The following days, we're going to expand your energy capacity. Imagine your energy is like a battery. What it is that you can do to expand your energy. Day number 3 is going to rewire your mind. I'm starting with the mind because you need awareness first. Then you can regulate your body and then you can redefine your soul. Day number 4, I'm going through the 7 stages of trauma to help you understand what they are, but most importantly, how you can close the loop and work through your energy cycles instead of getting stuck in them again and again and again. And the last day, we're building a lasting foundation for you, new and lasting, where you can expand and grow and flourish. The techniques that I'm teaching you are a whole number, 5 days, 5 different techniques of breathing. I'm teaching you the self-havening technique, self-hypnosis, giving you a framework to create affirmations. I teach you positive EFT tapping, and I am guiding you to a future self visualization, which closes our 5-day course. So I'm taking you from survival, the most basic, instinctual state of your being where you're really limited and locked, and there's nothing sexy about that, to safety, where there is an opening, there is the possibility to take you then into flow, because then from flow you can go into freedom. So I wonder if that is worth your time. Here's what others are saying. Melissa found that this catalyst has been inspiring and impactful, and it has helped her, and I remember her well, that it helped her to take her from her extraordinary state of anxiety to changing the energy around her. You could see it on day 5. The same with Terry, the same with everyone who has gone through this course. So here's what you can do for yourself. Yes, the course is only for $47, not $4,970, not even $497. And I'd like to put the link into the chat right now. Here it is. There are all my links. All right. So I chose $47 because I wanted to make this an easy decision for you. An easy decision to say yes to yourself. And here's what you're getting. For the $47, you're getting my 4 bonuses, all 4 of them. The nervous system protocol, the chaos calmer, the breath of life, you're getting the GPS to success, and of course, you're getting a workbook. Right now, it's $47, and it's the last time that I'm offering it at $47. Think of what $47 can get you. You could potentially have a dinner for two, maybe at home. I frankly doubt it. I don't think so. Instead, you can take that $47 and nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit. Or you could, in Manhattan, a pack of cigarettes is $20. So that would mean two packs plus seven. And just think of what that does to your system. Just think of it. Instead, you could learn breathing techniques that will actually make you feel safe, and you don't need that external safety blanket of the cigarette. Or here's the other option. You could take it and get perhaps 2.5 orders of at Starbucks instead of getting 5 days of inner healing and expansion. I wonder which one is longer lasting. Many of you may wonder, because you don't know who I am, if this is a scam or if this is snake oil. Well, this is neither a scam. For $47, no one would go for a scam. Yes, that's not true. That's not true. People do that. So no, it's not a scam, and there's definitely no snake oil here. What I am teaching in this course has been researched and proven by many, many others. Is there a solution to being stuck? Yes, there is. There absolutely is. And the people that I have worked with, they can tell you that it worked for them. Will this work for you? Here's a question I truly cannot answer because it is based on you doing the work. Will you do the work that will work for you? If not, it's not going to work for you. Can I bring you the solution? I have brought this solution to many, many, many of my clients, to all of my clients, frankly. What if this doesn't work? Well, here it's very simple. If you show up at the workshop and you do the work and it's not working for you, I refund you your $47 and you can keep the bonuses. So here's the thing. You can invest in yourself to start the journey towards coherence, resilience, and resourcefulness. And here's what I hear a lot, and I'd like to address this. Many, many, many people feel and hope that there is some external thing that will do the work for them, like the potion, the lotion, or the pill. This is not it. Many think that there is a genie waiting somewhere, and with the snap of a finger, you will find it. This is not that. They look for external solutions, for someone who will do it for them. And what that does, it keeps you, number one, in the stuck state, but it's also about not dealing with it. Because here's the thing. There's something in this that you needed to learn, something that is happening for you. Let me give you the story of the ginseng plant. The most valuable ginseng plant with the highest concentration of ginsenosides, hard for me to pronounce at times, that are produced is when the root has a very hard time finding its way through the rocks and through the minerals. And it has a very hard time with the climate, and it has a very hard time with potential droughts or floods. It has a very, very hard time with the winds. And the more adversity this ginseng plant faces and goes through, works itself up through, the more valuable the plant. And that is the same for you and I. Everything that we are experiencing in this journey is happening for our growth, for our resilience, for making it to the other side. It is not about giving it away. How many times would I have loved to find a coach who would do the work for me? But that is not growth. The growth is that you are doing it and you're becoming the greater, the better, the more accomplished person on the other side. And people don't try or haven't had success with this because they don't know where to start. They don't have clear steps. They're too anxious to start. I see that all the time. We're dealing with anxiety. They're unsure that this will work, and they're worried about the costs, and they're feeling alone. Oh, so alone. So, what if you knew where to start? If you had clear steps, if you weren't too anxious to start, and you were sure that this will work, and you'd be clear about the cost, and you had expert guidance, then I know for sure that you could get farther faster because instead of feeling overwhelmed, you have calm and clarity, and someone is there to support you. You'll actually do the things instead of just thinking, planning, and procrastinating and avoidance. You achieve your goals faster than you think. You'll break the habits and patterns that have been holding you back in the past, and you build unshakable confidence in your ability to succeed. And I want this to be one of the easiest and fastest way for you. And that's why I am making this easy for you, but you still have a choice. We always have a choice in life. Either we can stay where we are, which is a choice, or you can choose to repeat or to evolve. Repeating means that you are stuck in the past pain, the pain you know, and you're comfortable in the pain you know because at least you know what it was, but you are playing the victim, you're becoming the victim, and you're hoping for some miracle that someone will pop in. Or you're choosing to evolve, to imagine that it would work, to believe that it would work, to becoming flexible and to seeing possibilities. And frankly, you haven't come this far to just come this far, to just be here in this room and learn the things that I've talked about. But you have come here, you're still here because you want more, because there is more, and you want to access the things. And you're realizing when you're up here, stuck in your head, repeating, returning, revolving, you don't have access to your inner resources, your internal Fort Knox, which keeps you stuck and you can't move up to the next level. And you want more because you deserve more, and we all deserve more. And these more things are not material values that I'm speaking of, but they are the things that will make your life more fulfilling and satisfying and bring the change you desire. And there is a great deal of untapped capacity which you have not turned into your advantage yet. That's what we have been talking about all evening. Instead of not only not tapping into it, you frankly, without being aware of it, giving it away, you have drained your energy and you have deflated yourself. The fastest way to customize this is, and I give you another easy option, and that is to hop on my calendar. I've put the link in the chat. And that is to get on my schedule. Now, here's the thing. This is not for you if you don't want to show up, if you just in the moment go, oh, sure, sounds good. But then you allow that anxiety to pull you back in. So take a deep breath and make a conscious decision that you want to spend 40 minutes with me. And this is what we're going to do in the 40 minutes. I'm going to ask you about one thing that you'd like to work on, the one thing that you'd like to change the most, the most uncomfortable thing you're facing. I will listen to you. I will hear you. I will see you, and I will give you advice. That's what we're going to do. If then you are choosing to move forward and ask what working together would look like, we can do that. Or we don't. That's entirely up to you. And you will also get the 4 free bonuses for getting on a free call. And I give this to you because you matter. You are here for a reason, because something in you has pulled you into this place, has called you to be here. It always happens to us, for us, that something is brought to our attention at the right time, at the right moment. This is your time, and it is because you matter. So here you have either taking a path forward, and the question is, will you take it, or will you choose to stay where you are? And with that, I will stop the share and I will turn the recording off.